You just give me a minute. Okay. I think we can start now. Sorry, I'm just setting up. I'm going live on 2 platforms, on TikTok and on YouTube, so I have to set up the 2 platforms. Almost done. Peace Sunday, good evening. Welcome to the live class. Nice to have you. I'm doing great today. How about you? Okay, I think we are set on the 2 platforms. So today we are continuing with what we started with on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we looked at factorization of algebra. So if you were not part of that live class, you can go to the link on my bio on TikTok, and you see, when you click the link on my bio, you see an option to watch the free lecture on factorization of algebra. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can just go to my playlist and locate the playlist on factorization of algebra. You're going to see it over there. Okay, so let's start. As I said earlier, we looked at factorization of algebra. We looked at what an algebra is in the last class. We saw what factorization of algebra is, and then we solved some questions on factorization of algebra. In today's class, we're going to go further to look at difference of 2 squares. So difference of 2 squares is also a method of factorization in some situations. Okay, so let's look at that. Difference of 2 squares. So what does this mean? This principle of factorization is applied when a square is being subtracted by another square. Okay. This. Okay. So this principle is applied when a square is subtracted by excuse me, So this principle is applied when a square is subtracted by another square. So let's look at an example. If you have an algebra in the form a squared minus b squared, a squared minus b squared. So when you have an algebra in this form and you're expected to factorize it, the simplest way to do this is to open two brackets. This is not complex, okay? So once you see an algebra in this form, a squared minus b squared, all you need to do is bring a and add it to b in one bracket, and then subtract in the other bracket. And once you do this, you have factorized using difference of two squares. Okay? So how do you know that you are supposed to use this equation? First of all, when you see an algebra like this, the first thing you observe is there is a subtraction sign. If you see an addition sign, you cannot use this. Okay, so once you see an addition sign, no matter how the algebra looks like, once you see an addition sign, then forget about this method. Remember, difference in mathematics means subtraction. Difference, subtraction. So difference of two squared means one squared value is subtracting another squared value. So once you have that situation, then you are expected to use this method. So you bring a, put it in the parenthesis, plus b, and then in the second parenthesis or the second bracket, you do a minus b. So how do you know, apart from the subtraction sign, how do you know that we're expected to use this? Now, if you have something like this, 2x squared minus 8, can we use difference of two squares? Although we are seeing subtraction sign, but we might not need difference of two squares because there is a common factor between 2 and 8. In our last class, we saw how to factorize something like this. Okay, so since we have a common factor, although we are seeing a difference here, but we have a common factor, and also this is not a square. So since this is not a square, both sides must be squared, then you can apply difference of two squares. So if one side is a square, has a square, the other side does not have a square, you cannot apply difference of two squares. Okay, but if you begin to work on this, you might end up having difference of two squares. So let's write it down. Let me write this question down. 2x squared minus 8. Okay, so we are going to look at some examples that we can apply this method here. We're going to look at some examples that this method can be applied. So let's go ahead. Yeah, I want to welcome everyone from the WhatsApp group. I know most of you are on YouTube, so welcome everyone. Also, those of you that are on TikTok, I'm glad that you joined this live class. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Factorize x squared minus 4. X squared minus 4. Remember, for us to apply difference of two squares, a squared value must be subtracting another squared value. But in this situation, we cannot really say that a squared value is subtracting another squared value. Yes, over here we have a squared value, but here we don't have a squared value. So we need to think about this. Can we convert 4 to a squared value? The answer is yes. 4 is the same thing as 2 squared. Okay, so instead of having 4, we can simply write x squared minus 2 squared. So remember, we are applying difference of 2 squared. So the first thing we observe is that there is no common factor between x squared and 4. So we were almost stuck what can we do? How do we factorize this? There's no common factor between x squared and 4. Then difference of 2 squared comes to our rescue, because 4 is the same thing as 2 squared. So this gives us a way out. So instead of being stuck at this level, we can just transform 4 to become 2 squared. And now, once we transform this to become 2 squared, we now have a situation for difference of 2 squared, a squared minus b squared. So in this case, our a is x and our b is 2. So just as we did for a and b, where we have a plus b and a minus b, this algebra can simply be written as x plus 2 into x minus 2. X plus 2 into x minus 2. Nuri, you're welcome. Nice to see you today. Okay. So we have this algebra has been factorized to this using difference of 2 squares. Thank you, baby J. Okay, so let's continue. Let's look at another example. Another example. Hello, respect. Welcome to today's class. So the second example, we have x squared minus 81. X squared minus 81. So we can see a squared value here, but we cannot see a squared value here. This is not a squared value. We just have 81. But for us to apply difference of 2 squares, we need squared values. We have already known that this is difference, so we have an idea that we can use difference of 2 squares. But there is no common factor between x squared and 81. So what do? We have to transform 81 to become a squared value. And 81 is the same thing as 9 times 9. So this means x squared minus 9 squared. X squared minus 9 squared. Finico, nice to see you. You're welcome. Okay, so now we have x squared minus 9 squared. We can easily apply difference of 2 squares. We open 2 parentheses. We have x plus 9 and x minus 9. X plus 9 minus x plus 9 and x minus 9. So we have factorized this algebraic expression. So it's quite easy to factorize algebraic expressions using difference of 2 squares. So yeah, Nuri, you said no, sir. What are you saying no to? It's 3 and minus 3. How is it 3 and minus 3? Remember, Nuri, there's a difference between solving an equation and factorizing an algebraic expression. This is an algebraic expression, so we are not looking for the value of x. We are not looking for the value of x. We can only look for the value of x when we have equal to sign. Okay, so x squared minus 9 squared. First thing we did was, we had 81, we converted it to 9 squared, because 9 times 9 is 81. And then we had to separate the two of them. So let's look at another example. So we are building up. Next we have x squared minus 1. X squared minus 1. X squared minus 1. So in this case, can we use difference of 2 squared? Here we have x squared and minus 1. So yeah, I hope so too. I hope by the end you will understand. So what do you think? What do you think? Who knows what we should do in this situation? We have x squared minus 1. So what do we do? Can we change this to a squared value? Can we change? Here we have a squared value. Here, can we have a squared value over here? Okay, correct. 1 is a square because we can convert 1 to 1 squared because 1 times 1 is the same thing as 1. So instead of having 1 here, we can simply have x squared minus 1 squared. 1 squared is the same thing as 1. Correct. So since we've gotten that, we can just open the two brackets, x plus 1 into x minus 1. Okay. So let's go forward. Yeah, someone said they can't hear me. Is it from just one person's end or everybody? How many persons can hear me and how many persons can't hear me? Please signify so I'll know if I'm just. Yeah, Nuri can hear me. From YouTube, can you guys hear me over there? Okay, good. So, who said she can't or he or she cannot hear me? Diola, please check your volume or your internet connection. Okay, those on YouTube can also hear me. Okay, so let's continue. So let's continue. So we've seen these simple situations. Let's step up a little. Okay. So here we have 2x x squared minus 98. 2x squared minus 98. 2x squared minus 98. So we have stepped up a little. So we have stepped up a little. If you look here, we have 2x squared. Over here, we have 98. 98 cannot be converted to a square value because the square root of 98 is not a whole number. There's no number that will there's no whole number that will multiply itself to give you 98. There's no whole number that will multiply itself to give you 98. But here we can factorize this. Remember, we're looking at factorization. We can factorize this. So looking here, we have 2. Here we have 98. 2 is common between 2x squared and 98. So we can have it as 2 parentheses 2x squared divided by 2. This will give us x squared minus 98 divided by 2. This will give us 49. So we have factorized this. But in this situation, there's something called factorizing completely. This means you have to factorize until you cannot factorize further. Okay? So we have factorized, but we have not factorized completely. Why have we not factorized completely? If you look over here, we can still factorize using difference of 2 squares. Because here we have x squared, we have minus here, which is difference, and we have 49. 49 can be converted to 7 squared. So this can be rewritten as 2 parentheses x squared minus 7 squared. So here we are factorized, but we have not factorized completely. So now we are trying to factorize completely. Okay? So since we have x squared minus 7 squared, we can apply difference of 2 squared on this. So this means we are going to have 2 and then we open 2 brackets. So this will give us x plus 7, x minus 7. So at this point, we have factorized completely. Over here, we are factorized, but not completely. Here, we are factorized completely. Good. Chooks, that's nice. I'm glad you understand. Virginia, nice to see you on YouTube. So can we continue? Yeah, how did I get 7? 49 is the same thing as 7 multiplied by 7. 49 is equal to 7 times 7, which is 7 squared. So that's how we got 7. So we replaced 49 with 7 squared. Okay, good. So let's continue. Remember, the replay to this live class can be watched on YouTube. So if you have a friend and you'd like him to go through what we've learned today, he or she can just go to my YouTube channel and then go to the playlist on Algebra. So they can watch it as many times as they want. In case they want to prepare for an exam, you can just do that. Or you can just go to the link on my bio on TikTok. You click the link on my bio, you see all the lessons that I've taught. You can just click on any one that you want and watch them for free. Okay. Oh, I don't know why your answer is being filled up. Probably I will check on my settings. Probably I did something that I don't know. I don't know. I'll check on the setting later on. Okay, so let's look at another example. X to the power of 3 minus 48 what? Sorry, this is y and y. Okay. 12y to the power of 3 minus 48y. So here we are expected to factorize. So let's look at this. 12y to the power of 3 and minus 48y. From what we learned in our last class, we look first at the numbers. The largest number that can divide both 12 and 48 is 12. And then we look at the alphabets. This is y to the power of 3 and then y. We're going to pick the one with the smaller exponent. And then we open the parentheses. So 12 divided by 12, we cancel out. Y to the power of 3 divided by y. Y to the power of 3 is y times y times y. Divided by y. One y will cancel one y. So we have y times y, which is y squared. We bring the minus sign down. 48 divided by 12 will give us 4. 48 divided by 12 will give us 4. And y divided by y will cancel out. Right? So I want to ask a question. Have we factorized completely? Looking at this, we have factorized, but have we factorized completely? Do you think we have factorized completely? Darlington, nice to see you. No, we have not factorized completely. So there is a clue that we can factorize further, right? Because we have a minus sign here, which tells us we can use difference of two squares. And then we have 4 here, which can be converted to 2 squared. So this can be replaced with 12y into y squared minus 2 squared. So now we can apply difference of two squares, which gives us 12y into y plus 2 into y minus 2. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're going to look at one more example, and then I'll give you guys 2 questions to solve. One more example, then I'll give you 2 questions to solve. So tomorrow, I'm going to have an extra class on expansion of algebra. So what we have been doing all along from Wednesday and today has been factorization of algebra. So tomorrow we're going to conclude by learning expansion of algebra. Okay, so let's do that. Let's continue. So this looks a little bit different. 25y squared minus 9. 25y squared minus 9. So let's see how to factorize this. And let's see if we can apply difference of two squares in this situation. So the first thing that gives us clue that we can use difference of two squares is the minus sign here. So the minus sign gives us a clue that we can use difference of two squares. But the question is, how do we go about converting this to square and square? Over here, we know it's easy because 9 is the same thing as 3 squared. But here we have 25y squared. So what we can do is simply convert 25 to a square of 5. So this will be 5 squared y squared minus, we convert this, 3 squared. And from the laws of indices, when two values have square, this is the same thing as 5y all squared. So this square outside belongs to 5. It also belongs to y. So when you have 5 squared y squared, you can simply write it as 5y squared. Okay, so now we have a situation of difference of two squared. Because we have a squared value here, and we have a squared value here. So we can open the two brackets. So this will be 5y plus 3, 5y minus 3. So that gives us the answer. So we have been able to factorize using difference of two squares in all these examples we've considered. So let's, in 1 minute, I will just write down some questions that you guys should try out. What about the powers? Oh, you can't answer. What did I say? What did I say? But you guys are making comments, so why can't you answer? Wow. The settings doesn't allow you to answer. But I saw someone type numbers. Yeah, I've seen Nuri, you typed a number earlier. I've seen two persons type numbers, or more than two. But let me just write it. The most important thing is you attempt it. Oh, okay. Yeah, but Nuri has done brackets now. Nuri, I think that was fast, but I don't think that's the correct answer. Remember, in these questions, you have to apply difference of two squares. These questions involve difference of two squares. Okay, thank God something's changed. Okay, for Bismarck, I think you were too fast. For still too fast. Hmm. Can you factorize 4 out of this? Is 4 common between this and this? I don't think 4 is common here. So you bring out what is common before you start applying difference of two squares. Okay, so Nuri has given an answer on TikTok, 5a minus 4b into 5a plus 4b. Okay, y squared into 4 minus y squared. Yeah, you are Bismarck, you factorized, but inside the parentheses, you can still factorize further. 4 minus y squared can be factorized further. Okay. Nuri has written another answer. Let me write it down. Nuri, what country are you? Okay. Y squared parenthesis 2 minus y into 2 plus y. Okay. Very good, Bismarck. Very good. Okay, I think you are modifying your answer. Y squared into y plus 2 into y minus 2. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry that your answers are being deleted. Okay, so I think you should follow the method that Nuri is applying. You can break your answers into shorter forms. So he wrote his answer in shorter forms. Okay, correct. Virginia, correct. That's good. Y squared into y 2 minus 2 plus y into 2 minus y. That's good. Okay. Yeah, Bismarck, you just wrote the question. I don't think for number 2, you've not given the answer. You've not told us the answer. So we just have about 2 minutes more. Oh, South Africa, that's nice. I was looking at I'm seeing I guess SA means South Africa, I guess. But the flag I'm seeing on your name, I was thinking probably is somewhere else. Okay, I think we should try to solve at this point. Okay. Oh, that's good. You stand with Palestine. Me too. Me too. But this is not about that, though. But I stand with them. Okay, so let's solve. Let's. So well done to everyone who attempted the question. As I normally say, the most important thing is to attempt the question. But the only way you can perfect it is watching the video as many times as you need to watch them for you to understand it. That's why you can always go to my YouTube channel and check the playlist. Always, you can go to the playlist section of my YouTube channel. Rita, nice to see you. You're welcome. You can go to the playlist of my YouTube channel and then click on any topic that you want to learn. So what I'm trying to do is create a free video library of maths topics so that any student that truly wants to learn can always go to any of these videos that these classes that we're having. You can go to any of these classes and watch the replay because you can find them on my YouTube platform. Okay, so let's look at these examples, starting with the first one. Let me wipe this off. Okay, so we have 4y squared minus y to the power of 4. So the first thing we do, we factorize, okay? We look at what is common. Here we have 4. We have the number here is 1, right? Because there's no number, we know that it is actually 1. Here we have y squared. Here we have y to the power of 4. So y is common. So we choose the smaller exponent, y to the power of 2, and then we can divide. 4y squared divided by y squared will give us 4. Y to the power of 4 divided by y squared will give us y squared. All you need to do is all you need is 4 minus 2, that gives you 2. Okay? So now we've factorized, but we have not factorized completely. We have the option to factorize further because here we have 4, so we can convert it to 2 squared. So this will give us y squared into 2 squared minus y squared. Finally, you're going to have y squared. This is difference of 2 squares. So you open 2 brackets. 2 plus y into 2 minus y. So by doing this, we have factorized completely. We have factorized completely. Yeah, maths is amazing. Maths is amazing and very easy. Very easy. If well explained, it's quite easy. Okay, let's look at the second one. So for the second one, we have 25a squared minus 16b squared. So here, 25 can be converted to 5 squared. So we have 5. So we have 5 squared a squared minus 16 can be converted to 4 squared. So we have 4 squared b squared. So since both of them have square, you can simply write 5a squared minus, both of them have square, 4b squared. So now we have a situation of difference of 2 squares. So we can simply write 5a plus 4b into 5a minus 4. And that will be the answer. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Okay. Well done, guys. Should we stop at this point or we should go a little bit further? Because we can still look at factorization of quadratic expressions. Should we stop at this point? Okay, so let's look at factorization of algebra, factorization of quadratic expression. So I'm creating a separate playlist for quadratic expressions and equations, but for the purpose of factorization, we can just look at factorization of quadratic expressions for the purpose of factorization. So the first thing we need to do is we need to understand what a quadratic expression is. So a quadratic expression is a second order algebraic expression. So a quadratic expression is a second order algebraic expression. Second order here means the highest exponent is 2 or the highest power is 2. So if the power is more than 2, it is not an or it is not a quadratic expression. If the power is less than 2, it is not a quadratic expression. So if I have something like this, x to the power of 3 plus x to the power of 2, once there's x to the power of 3, this is not a quadratic expression, because for a quadratic expression, the highest exponent or the highest power must be 2. Also, if the power is less than 2, it is not a quadratic expression. Then what is an expression? There's a difference between an expression and an equation. An expression does not contain equal to sign. An equation contains equal to sign. So when you hear expression, it means the value does not contain an equal to sign. Okay? So we're going to look at how to factorize algebraic expression. Sorry, how to factorize quadratic expressions. So let's look at an example. Or let me wipe this. So I'll have so let's say we have x squared, or we are told to factorize. So we are told to factorize x squared plus 6x plus 8. X squared plus 6x plus 8. So this is a quadratic expression. This is a quadratic expression. The reason this is a quadratic expression is the maximum exponent of the variable. The maximum exponent is 2. So since the maximum exponent or the highest exponent is 2, this is a quadratic expression. So how do we factorize a quadratic expression? First of all, let's call whenever you see a variable which is the alphabet, whenever I see a variable which is the alphabet, the number in front of it is called a coefficient. Those on YouTube, can you guys see the screen clearly? Can you see the board clearly? It seems blurry from my end. So the number in front of each of the coefficients, each of the variable is called coefficient. Okay, so x squared has a coefficient. That means x squared has a number in front of it. X has a number in front of it. So this quadratic expression can be written as ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of x, and c is the number that does not contain an alphabet. Okay, so these three are very important. 1 minute, let me try to see what I can do. Sorry, the YouTube screen was a little bit blurry. I think it's better now. Still having issues. So ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is the number in front of x squared. B is the number in front of X, and C is the number without the X. Okay? So in this case, A is equal to, is there any number in front of X squared? Is there any number in front of X squared? And if there is, what is the number? Is there any number in front of X squared? If there is, correct. The number in front of X squared is 1. And then B is the number in front of X, which is 6. C is the number without X, which is 8. So in our previous class, when we are doing factorization by grouping, we discovered that for you to factorize by grouping, you must have 3 different values. You must have 4 different values. For example, if you have 24x squared plus 12x plus 8x plus 4. I'm just giving this as an example. It might not be accurate. Now, in this situation, we have, this is one group, this is one group. So with this, you can factorize by grouping. So, but in this situation here, we don't have 4 sets of values that we can factorize by grouping. So we need to break this number down. We need to split this number into 2 so that now we can factorize by grouping. So whenever you are factorizing a quadratic expression, the first target is to split this middle number into 2 values, because the way it is, you cannot factorize by grouping. But when you split it into 2 values, then you can now factorize 2 this way and 2 this way. So that is the target. So how do you achieve that? For you to achieve that, you must look for two numbers that will multiply themselves to give you AC, and those same 2 numbers will add themselves to give you B. Remember, A is the number in front of X squared, B is the number in front of X, and C is the number that is standing alone. So we want to split this number into 2. And for us to do that, so we look for 2 numbers that will multiply themselves to give us AC, and add themselves to those same 2 numbers will add themselves to give you B. So now our AC is 1 times 8, which is 8. Our B is 6. So this means we are looking for 2 numbers that will multiply themselves to give you 8, positive 8, and those same 2 numbers will add themselves to give you positive 6. Well done. Good. So those on TikTok, please help me tap on the screen. Let's get the likes to a reasonable amount. Okay, but let the tapping not distract you from learning. So now, what are the numbers that will multiply to give you 8? Let's start from 1. 1 times 8 will give you 8. Minus 1 times minus 8 will also give you 8. Because minus times minus will give you plus. So 1 times 8 will give you 8. Minus 1 times minus 8 will give you 8. Another set of numbers is 2 times 4. That will give you 8. Also, minus 2 times minus 4 will also give you 8. So these are 4 sets of numbers that will multiply to give you 8. But among these, which ones will add themselves to give you 6? 1 plus 8 will give you 9, not 6. Minus 1 minus 8 will give you minus 9, not 6. 2 plus 4 will give you 6. This means that these are the 2 numbers that we need to work with. These are the 2 numbers that we need to work with, 2 and 4. So what are we going to do with 2 and 4? We are going to use these 2 numbers to replace 6x. So instead of having 6x here, we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8. X squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8. So 6x has been replaced by these two. If you bring them together again, 2x plus 4x will still give you 6x. Okay? But we went through this process to get the exact value that we needed to replace this. So now we can factorize by grouping, just as we learned from our previous class. So we're going to factorize these two together, factorize these two together. If you look carefully, you're going to see that between these two, we have something in common. Between these two, we also have something in common. So let's look at these two, x squared and plus 2x. X is common. X squared divided by x will give us x, plus 2x divided by x will give us 2. So if you want to learn about, if you want to go through what we learned in our previous class, if you're on TikTok, you can simply go to my bio, click on the link on my bio, and you see the option to watch the video on factorization of algebra. So you can just click on it and watch the entire lecture on that. So next, 4x plus 8. What is common is 4. 4x divided by 4 will give us x, plus 8 divided by 4 will give us 2. Now we can bring the values outside the bracket together. So this means x plus 4 into x plus 2. So we have been able to factorize this quadratic expression to get this. So this is the simple process of factorizing quadratic expressions, where we only have 3 values. So if we have 4 values the way you have here, we don't need to go through all this process. But whenever you just have 3 like this, then you need to split this middle value into 2, and then you can now break it down. Somebody's asking a beautiful question. When can we use this in the real world? I have always been hoping that someone will ask me a question like this during my live class. Those of you on TikTok, I got this question from YouTube. Just another guy. Yeah, you're just another guy. When can we use this in the real world? One thing we need to understand is most of the things we enjoy in the real world are products of either mathematics or engineering. Now, the things we learn at the secondary school level or the high school level, these are the foundational topics that will be needed in the university level. But at the secondary school level, students have not taken options. We don't know who is going to be a lawyer. We don't know who is going to be a doctor. We don't know who is going to be an artist. So all the children have their potentials in them. We don't know who they are going to be. So what is done is at this elementary level, every student is taught the basic topics. But not everyone is going to apply this thing in the real world, of course. We use our mobile phones. Do we know the principles behind those mobile phones? We don't. We use TikTok. Do we know the principles behind the algorithm? We don't. So not everybody is going to use it, but almost every one of us is enjoying the benefits of these things. Okay? So you might be a sports person, you might be a musician, you might not be using this. But at the level where these things are taught, we don't know who is going to become who. So that's why everybody has to learn it at that level. Okay, but if you have grown up and you see that you don't need it, it doesn't mean that some persons are not actually using it as adults. Okay. So this is very important in engineering. If you end up becoming an engineer, these principles are very important. But if you end up becoming a lawyer, these principles are useless to you. Good. Maths is important. We find out that there are different solutions. Thank you so much. We find out that a particular solution has different pathways. Different students can solve a particular question with different methods and arrive at the same answer. So even if um, can, just another guy, can you rephrase that question because I really don't understand it. So if you are at the secondary school level, please don't be discouraged. It's very important that you learn these topics. You might end up using them, you might end up not using them, but you might end up teaching your children at their own level. So most times, some parents watch my videos not because they want to use it in their everyday work activities, but to be able to explain some things to their children when their children come home with some assignments. Okay, yeah, a question like that, we did how to factorize such a question um, in our previous class. Okay, that's is a little bit is quite easy to factorize such a question because there are four options, so you can factorize them by grouping. As long as the values have something in common, you can just factorize them by grouping. The video on that is on my YouTube channel. You can just search for the live class I had 3 days ago or 2 days ago. So let's solve one more question and then we I give you a classwork and then we'll be done for today's class. Those of you on YouTube, sorry, I need to connect the persons on TikTok back because TikTok just ended my live class. So I need to connect again. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's continue. Sorry, on TikTok, once it gets to about an hour, TikTok automatically disconnects me. I don't know the reason for that. Okay, so let's look at the last example. Um, 2x squared minus x minus 6. 2x squared minus x minus 6. So 2x squared minus x minus 6. In this situation, a is equal to 2, b is equal to, this minus sign belongs to x. So since there is no number here, the number there is 1. So we have minus 1 as the value of b. And then c is equal to minus 6. Okay, so now we are looking for two numbers that will multiply themselves to give you AC and add themselves to give you B. AC is 2 times minus 6. AC is 2 times minus 6, which is minus 12. And B is minus 1. B is minus 1. Someone say 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Let's see. We don't need to guess, you can just find out. So what are the numbers that will multiply themselves to give you minus 12? Always start with 1. Always start with 1. So 1 times minus 12 will give you minus 12. Do we agree? 1 times minus 12 is going to give us minus 12. Also, minus 1 times plus 12. Let me put the signs, plus, minus 12. So plus 1 times minus 12 will give you minus 12. Minus 1 times plus 12 will also give you minus 12. Also, plus 2 times minus 6 will give you minus 12. Minus 2 times plus 6 will give you minus 12. So we are trying to exhaust all the numbers that will multiply themselves to give us minus 12 before we pick out the one that will add to give you minus 1. We also have plus 3 times minus 4 will give us minus 12. And then minus 3 times plus 4 will give you minus 12. Okay, no correct? So if you look over here, now we want to add the values. We want to add them to see if they are going to give us B. Plus 1 minus 12 is going to give us minus 11. Minus 1 plus 12 is going to give us plus 11. Plus 2 minus 6 is going to give us minus 4. Minus 2 plus 6 is going to give us 4. Plus 3 minus 4 is going to give us minus 1. And minus 3 plus 4 is going to give us 1. This means the only set of values that will multiply themselves to give you minus 12 and also add themselves to give you minus 1 is this combination, which is plus 3 minus 4. Plus 3 minus 4. So what are we going to do at this point? We are going to replace minus x with plus 3x and minus 4x. We can also replace it with minus 4x in front and plus 3x behind. So let's do it like that. So this will give us 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. So we have replaced this with these two values. Okay, so we have replaced this with these two values. So now we can factorize by grouping. So we factorize these two together. We factorize these two together. So let's do that. Sorry, before this. So 2x squared and 4x. If you look at the numbers, 2 is common. And then if you look at the alphabet, x is common. And then you open the bracket. 2x squared divided by 2x, this will give us x. Minus 4x divided by 2x, this will give us minus 2. We bring the plus sign down. 3x minus 6. What is common is 3, right? What is common is 3, correct? And then 3x divided by 3 will give us x. Minus 6 divided by 3 will give us 2. So now we are almost at the end of the equation. So we bring the two values outside the parentheses together. So what we have is 2x plus 3 into x minus 2. So this is a simple way of factorizing a quadratic expression. Oh, parentheses means bracket, bracket, parenthesis. Sorry, I learned it from my students. I learned it from my students in the US. They always say parenthesis instead of uh, bracket. And they also say exponent instead of power. So we here in Nigeria say bracket. My students say parenthesis. Power, we say power, and they say exponent. So, but parenthesis is simply bracket. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys one question to try out, and then we will be done for today's class. Thank you guys for being here till this point. I'm so glad you were patient enough. The class is really long, a little over an hour spent, but you guys have been patiently here learning maths. Thank you so much for the gift. I'm so glad to have serious students like yourself. Thank you, Amani. Okay, so try out these questions and then this one question and then we'll be done. So you can watch the replay. If you just joined us, we've had a long class. We've seen factorization of algebra. We've seen factorization by grouping in our previous class. In this class, we looked at difference of two squares, and now we've seen factorization of quadratic expressions. You can watch all those videos on my YouTube channel if you're on YouTube, or you can just go to my bio. If you're on TikTok, just go to my bio, click on the link on my bio, and then there'll be options of free video lectures that you can watch. You can just click on the option on factorization of algebra, and you can watch that for free. Thank you so much to Mohammed. So try out this question. Okay. Ria baby, thank you so much too. Thank you. So let's try this out in 6 minutes. I don't know how many minutes I've spent on YouTube. How do I check? Please don't forget to invite your friends for the next class. If you have any friends that want to learn about mathematics, high school maths, also you can join my WhatsApp group if you want to join the WhatsApp group and influence the topic we are going to learn, because whatever topic we are learning is a decision of the members of my WhatsApp group. So we normally have a vote for the topic we are going to learn for a particular week. So for this week, when we did the poll, factorization of algebra was number one from the list of what the students wanted to learn. And that's why we're learning it. So next week, we'll be looking at another topic, depending on what the students demand for. So if you want to join my WhatsApp group, you can just send me a DM. If you're on TikTok, you can just send me a DM at the end of the live class. And then I'll send you the link. I'll send you my WhatsApp number so that you can join the WhatsApp group. Also, apart from just the we have two groups actually, the WhatsApp group. In the second WhatsApp group, you can have interactions with other students from different countries. Students can help each other out with assignments. Students can explain to you how a particular question is being solved. It's just an interactive platform for students, basically. So if you're interested, you can just send me a DM at the end of the class, at the end of the live class. So how many persons have attempted the question? Why this? What is this one difficult? I don't think so. This one is actually easy. Is actually easier than the first, the second one. The first thing you need to do is identify your A. Second thing, identify your B. And third, identify your C. Busy boy said he's done. Okay, good. But can you type the answer to the question? Is it possible to type it? So when you identify your A, you identify your B, you identify your C. The next thing is to calculate the numbers that will give you AC and the numbers that will give you B. So you check what combination of numbers will give you AC. Not forgetting this sign when you're writing your C. Okay, 6 comma minus 2. Okay, 6 comma minus 2. Will 6 comma minus 2 add up to give you B? Remember, those two numbers will multiply to give you AC and add up to give you B. Yeah, it does not concern T-Pain, that's true. Mm. He's enjoying himself in Abuja. Let's see, is the expression right? Is there any mistake from anywhere? Let's see. Okay, since there's an issue with it, let me put plus sign here. I think, yeah, I think there's an issue. I'm wait. I think there's an issue with the question. Let me get another question. Just be patient. Let me get um, another question. All right, let's use something else. Okay, let's work with this. Yeah, Ibrahim, I I think there was an issue with the question, so I have changed the question. So you can try out this one. Wow, the class has been quite long today, almost 1 hour 30 minutes. So we'll soon be done for today. Once we get the answer, I'm glad to do it. Thank you for your time too. I think there's a certain I did unknowingly. Probably that's what is stopping the the comments. I don't know. I don't know. I'll check the settings later on. The YouTube screen is a little bit blurry. I don't know why. Okay. Bismarck, x minus 5, and x plus 3. Okay. So someone on YouTube has gotten an answer. Okay. Nuri also got x minus 5, x plus 3. Okay. Muhammad, 5 and minus 3. Okay. Is it going to be 5 and minus 3 or minus 5 and 3? Okay, Ibrahim, well done. X plus 3, x minus 5. Good, 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 good. So, thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for your participation. Yeah, they should give mathematics keyboard. Okay, so let's solve the question and then end the live class. Thank you very much. So let's solve. So our A in this question is 1, our B is -2, and our C is -15. So now we are looking for two numbers that will multiply themselves to give us AC and add themselves to give us B. AC is 1 times -15, which is -15, and B is -2. So let's look at AC. Numbers that will multiply to give us -15 have 1 plus 1 times -15 minus 1 times +15. We also have plus 3 times -5 and -3 times +5. So these are the values that will multiply themselves to give us -15. But plus 1 minus 15 will give us -14. Minus 1 plus 15 will give us 14. Plus 3 minus 5 will give us -2. -3 plus 5 will give us 2. So the only combination that is going to give us -2 is this. So this means we're going to replace -2x with plus 3x and -5x. So this will be x squared plus 3x minus 5x minus 15. So we factorize this and we factorize this. So here and here, what is common is x. X squared divided by x will give us x. Plus 3x divided by x will give us plus 3. We bring the minus down. 5x and 15, what is common is 5. Minus 5x divided by minus 5. Minus will cancel out minus. 5 will cancel out 5, so we have x. Minus 15 divided by minus 5. Minus divided by minus will give us plus, and 15 divided by 5 will give us 3. It blinks. Okay, that's nice. That's what your teacher is teaching. Good. So now we bring the values outside the bracket together. So we have x minus 5. And since these two are the same, we pick one, x plus 3. And that becomes our final answer for today. Good. So congratulations to everyone who attempted the question. As I said, the most important thing is attempting the question. Attempting the question. Please, I would like more of you on TikTok to join me on YouTube. If you can, that's if you can. My classes are always on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Nigerian time, Fridays, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. If you want to know what the time difference is, if you're not in Nigeria, right now the time is 9:45 over here. So the time over here is 9:45. So depend on what time you are right now. I can tell you if we are in the same time zone, or you guys are ahead of us, or you guys are behind us. So my classes every Wednesdays and Thursdays. Right now I'm live. The question I'm answering now is from YouTube. Right now I'm live on TikTok. So I always combine the two, right? But today I forgot to do a giveaway for those on YouTube. But normally, what I want to be doing is I do giveaways on YouTube, not on TikTok, for obvious reasons. Actually, that's if you understand the different platforms. Okay, so I do give away for those on YouTube. But if you want to join me on YouTube, all you need to do is search for my YouTube channel, Agbani Mass Academy, on YouTube. The same name I have on TikTok is the same name I have on YouTube. So you can search for it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the bell notification. So once I start a live class on YouTube, you'll be notified. Once I post a video on YouTube, you'll be notified. Okay. So as time goes on, I'm thinking of doing a like a quiz session where persons can come on the platform, and then I'll be asking questions, maths questions from a list of numbers. You pick a number and I ask you a question. So, and then at the end of the day, students can win cash prizes. So I'm still working on my means of transfer of cash prizes. Right now, I can only transfer to 20 countries in Africa. Okay, so I think that will be all for today. That'll be all for today. But tomorrow, hello, Bauman. Nice to see you today. But tomorrow I'll come live on TikTok and YouTube for the conclusion of this topic. We'll be looking at factorization of algebra. But in order to have a balanced understanding, we need to do the opposite of factorization, which is expansion of algebra. So tomorrow I'll be teaching on expansion of algebraic expressions. Okay, 12 p.m., 12 in the afternoon, Nigerian time. Okay, bye, Ibrahim. Okay, so that will be all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your willingness to learn. Please invite friends to join us. If you have any friend that is struggling in maths, just tell them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In 1 year, maths will be the easiest subject for them. Amen, Mohammed. Amen. Okay, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful night rest. See you tomorrow, God willing. Adios.